Hi, everybody, and welcome to this evening's edition of the Tingling Tea. Here at the Tingling Tea, we discuss the strange and the supernatural, the creepy and the cryptid, the weird and the wonderful, and the freaky and the phenomenal. Is that right? Or that what is the freaky, phenomenal, whatever? That's what we're talking about. Before I go any further, it's been a long day. I want to bring in my guests. I'm not going to have any pithy comments tonight because, frankly, I'm just tired and I'm all out of adjectives. So I'm just going to bring everybody in. Right now, I'm going to bring in my wonderful hostess of the Moses, Miss Annabelle Chimpton. Hi.
Hey, that's right. I think you did a great job on the intro today.
I did. Oh, thank you. I mean, hey, given my day today, I think that I did really well. So let's not go any further without bringing in our other guest host, our host, who is with us all the time, my friend, Augie Ominous Eddie Peterson.
What's up? Hello. I think you did an amazing job. Who the heck cares what this show is about? It's about you. It's about us. It's about our commentary on various things. We love being together and having a good time. That's what it's about.
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
I think I might change it to the freaky and the phenomenal. So I mean, that makes a little sense.
And
come get freaky with us.
Yeah, get freaky with it.
We can make it furry. We can make it about furries
freaky
as well.
Furries. Yeah, I like that too. Freaky and
There's
furry.
There's a whole furry world out there.
It's freaky. It's furry. It's the tingling tea.
All right, I love that. And you all, of course, with us again tonight is our guest host, Mr. Mayhem, Mike Alexander, Pure Mayhem right here. How are you doing?
What's up, freaky phenomenal family?
He's freaky, he's furry, he's Mayhem Mike.
So before we start our show, I just want to give a disclaimer. This is the 8 o'clock hour, which means this is mature content, folks. So if you don't like to talk about anything that is scary or creepy or the such, please just turn us off and turn us down. And, we understand. We're fine if you don't, just support us another way, just like and follow our page. And also, if you have any children watching this show, please use parental discretion as far as the content. We do get into adult territory here, so I don't want you to have a whole night of explaining yourself. So, we understand that, but if they like this kind of stuff, they can handle this kind of stuff, then by all means, please come and support us. And we also want to reiterate that you please like, subscribe, and follow us on CRYPTID Productions at Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and make comments too. Like Mia. Good evening, Mia. How are you?
Every time she does the disclaimer, I think of the Lego movie at the end when he goes, wait, kids, ask your parents where babies come from. And they end it. And I was like, that's such a setup. That is such a setup. I love it.
That's hilarious.
I love that too. That's hilarious. All right. So we have a lot of content to get into this evening. But before we do that, I know that we were making a big old fuss last week about, wait a minute.
Dad,
it's Dad's birthday.
Dad. Always fussing over Dad.
We wish it was your birthday so we could party too. Hey. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Interestingly enough, that's the wrong content that I'm pulling up.
You are struggling today. Les is struggling. We need to help Les.
I tell you, yeah, please.
What can we do to help you, Les? What can we do?
First of all, the show's going great when Les is like, you know what? Let's talk about last week. Hit it, Les. Hit it, Les. Freaky, furry, phenomenal.
I've got something to say.
Welcome to our show, which talks about things and stuff. We're not sure.
We're not sure. We're just talking about it. It definitely has been a very long day. Are we going to get that content up? Yeah, we're going to definitely get that content up. But I know that last week we were making jokes about the Snyder Cut. And
the Snyder Cut.
Everybody's talking about the Snyder Cut.
Well, everybody's talking about the Snyder Cut.
I think it's the Snyder Uncut because I hear that this thing was way too long. Way too long.
You know what?
But even if it was long, it was enjoyable.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, is it true that it's 6 hours long?
No.
I heard it was 8 hours long.
No, they just think it's
Yes.
8, but it's really 6. It's normal.
Yes.
So
I mean, bathroom breaks included. Yeah, 6 hours long. You know, you can make it stretch. It's 3
Zack
hours.
Snyder, whoever the heck that is, actually tweeted out like, if you need a break, take it between this segment and that segment. That's
Really?
the perfect stuff.
He did?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, it's actually 4 hours long, right? It was 4 hours.
4 hours and 2 minutes.
4 hours and 2 minutes. But
That's
I'm
not a
telling you,
movie.
It's a play? Oh my God. It's like Wicked.
It's like an afternoon. It's like a commitment.
But I have to tell you, you all, I didn't notice that 4 hours went by.
Agreed.
I really didn't.
Agreed.
I was looking for everything that was different from the Joss Whedon cut, and I was thoroughly enjoying the content. It was really good. It was really good.
I definitely good.
I didn't notice it either, but that's because I didn't watch it.
Of course.
Sorry.
Okay, I love you.
I do want you to do this. Let me tell you something. I want you to watch it. I really want you to watch it because I think that you will thoroughly enjoy it. I really do.
I have someone who was like, I would not recommend anyone watch this.
Really?
What?
Ooh. Now that's some tea.
I'm gonna drop it. Yeah, I'll drop it.
But why? What
Drop
was
and
their
dive.
what was their reasoning for not wanting anybody
It's just
to watch it?
it's like 2 hours too long, I think was the reasoning.
No.
And it's like it's a 4-hour movie, so it's hard to recommend unless it's really great.
It's a 3 hour and 45-minute movie if you take out the
Oh,
credits,
you're
right?
cutting off time now.
I mean, you got to look at it as it is. You know what I'm saying? But
Starts with,
wow.
it's 4 hours and 2 minutes. Oh, no. It's actually 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Allow me to say this. I also was taking notes, but it's such an enjoyable movie. I had to stop and replay certain scenes all over again because I got really into it. That's the problem with this movie. It draws you in. Like, you forget it's 3 hours or 45 minutes or 4 hours, however you want to identify it as, you know? Oh, wow.
I think the consensus was that the first half was really slow, but the last half after everything was set up was really good. That's what
all.
No. I think that you really have to be a fan of this kind of content to really say that you enjoyed it. If that person is not a DC fan, or if that person doesn't like this kind of stuff or this particular storyline, then they're not going to get it. They're not going to receive it like most of us did that were fans. So
if I were to identify as a 2 hour freaky phenomenal furry, is that a general public statement I can make?
Definitely.
Okay.
You belong in this particular chat room then.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Welcome all kinds of furries.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we love our furry audience.
We do.
We're totally inclusive here at the Tingling Tea.
Yeah, definitely. That we definitely are. So it looks like this is a very interesting, but it looks like my content is too big to be loaded into tonight's subject. But I will figure it out on the fly. Yeah, definitely.
That's what it's like
too big.
having the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
So
give it a chance, please, Mia.
That fish is too big.
They don't know any better, Mia. They don't know any better.
The Snyder cut, it's so massive.
Yes, so,
I want to smell that fish.
I
tell you. You take that fish and you smell that fish.
I would smell the fish. I would smell it. So I really thought that it was good. I thought that it really fleshed out a lot of the storylines for some of the individuals that we didn't get to see in the Joss Whedon cut. So I was very happy with that. In particular, I think the star of the show was definitely Cyborg.
Ray Fisher owned that movie. And it's so funny because as Cyborg, he's never really a pivotal or important role. It's always like Superman or Batman and Wonder Woman, but like in this movie, he came alive, and you can see why there was such fandom for him. They made a mistake letting that man go. They did.
Is this the same Cyborg from the Doom Patrol show, like canon?
No, I don't know. I don't think they've integrated the what's that, DC Justice and not just Justice. Teen Titans. They didn't incorporate him, but it's supposed to happen around that time, but not really. We don't know yet. They'll let us know.
Because I have watched Doom Patrol.
No, well,
Doom Patrol is dope.
Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for anything, it was worth it to watch Jason Momoa and Henry Cavill in this. So, they were stunning throughout the whole performance.
I'm sure they had a great acting performance. I'm sure that's what drove this interest.
Well, to be fair, different from the actual Joss Whedon version, he's not like the comedic person he was. He was not like for jokes. He's like a more serious Aquaman that we know and love.
Oh, really? He's not like Surfer Aquaman?
He does that. No, he did that part.
He did that part, but he was not like that. He really has some substance in this.
Oh, actually, I like that. I think that's a great decision.
Yeah, it was a really good decision. But
they gave him a longer fish.
Yeah.
He's so fishy.
There's so much more of him in this movie.
Oh, okay.
But Ray Fisher did still. I think that his storyline did actually steal the show. So
he's amazing. Look at that.
I think that Warner Media owes him definitely an apology, and they need to bring him back. And that's what I'm saying about this, because we don't have any Black representation in the DC universe right now, except we do have a special guest. I would say, I'm not going to give it away.
Oh.
There is somebody that actually shows up in the show that if you are a fan of this genre or you're a fan of DC, you will totally freak out when you see this person. Oh my goodness, who has got a plane going over there?
It's the actor you're talking about. They're about to drop in and drop some bombs on us. Let's go.
Wait, let me guess. So it's a person of color who is people are going to be excited about, like Oprah Winfrey. I don't know.
Oprah.
No.
I wish I could be with that Oprah Winfrey meme where she's just like.
I would like to see Oprah Winfrey as a superhero. I think she's a superhero in real life.
And
let's have this talk.
You get a car.
That's right.
Actually, I'm going to push back on that. I think Oprah Winfrey would be a better villain, and I would love to see her play Amanda Waller from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I was going to say she'd be a good Poison Ivy.
Yes,
Ooh.
definitely. Yeah, yes. So actually, too, that's another thing. I never liked Ezra Miller in this role as the Flash, and I really liked him in this. Once they fleshed out his characters, I was like, oh yeah, he's kind of cute. I really loved it. I thought it was good. I'm going to rewatch it just to see if there's anything that I missed, because I was watching it.
You have 4 hours of your life that you can fit another viewing in.
Look, I know it's not 4 hours of life. It's
you need a nap. You need a nap, Leslie.
It's an hour here, an hour there, maybe 15 minutes while I'm cleaning the room. That kind of overview. That's what I'm going to be doing. So let's move on a little bit. We're gonna wrap up our Women's History Month with some content. So this is Augie's segment about women in horror films, or our sheroes in horror.
That's right.
Yeah, so let's talk about your sheroes in horror this evening.
Of course. So our sheroes, and I have loved doing these segments. So I'm sorry that this is our last segment talking about sheroes. We're going to have to continue this because we only made it to the 80s. So we're going to talk about sheroes of the 1980s. Now, if 70s were the decade where we really started to discover the empowerment of female characters, and they started to take on the badassery that we're known today. The 80s were the time when they really started to come into their own. And so what I wanted to focus on were not films necessarily, but actresses. So actresses of the 1980s that actually represented this fantastic shero symbol in more than one of their films. And so I'd love to talk to you about our first actress and her name is Adriana Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau or Adriana?
Oh, sorry, Adrienne. I thought it's Adriana, but I guess maybe it's Adrienne Barbeau.
It's Adrienne. It's Adrienne Barbeau. Honey, don't mess her name up. That girl
I'm sorry.
was off the chain. I loved her.
Miss Adrienne Barbeau, I do apologize for screwing up your name.
Yeah, don't screw up her name because we might have her here as a guest one night. So don't screw up her name. She
is amazing. So she always took roles where she kicked ass and took names. And not only was she like sexy, but she was tough and could hold her own with the other heroes. She had the other thing that was so wonderful about her is her seductive, deep voice. She actually has a fantastic voice. And during the 80s, she appeared in several horror movie classics such as The Fog, Escape from New York, Swamp Thing, and Creepshow. I mean, those are things. If you are a fan of horror movies and you haven't seen those, you are missing out. Please go stop what you're doing. Don't watch the Snyder Cut and go watch those things because that's the foundation that the Snyder Cut was built on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but they don't have Aquaman in those movies, Augie.
But his fish was always present.
You know, that's so corny. That fish, no. But I would say this, that Adrienne Barbeau actually made a quote saying in all the horror films that I have done, all of these women were strong women. And I don't feel I ever played the victim, although I was always in jeopardy. And this is truth about every character that she played, you know, down to, which was one of my favorite films that she played in was The Fog. Yeah, which and I'm not talking about the remake, you all. I'm talking about the original, The Fog. That's a John Carpenter Fog, because the remake was trash.
That's right. And you know that the John Carpenter Fog, she was actually married to John Carpenter.
Yes, she was his wife at that time.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
So the role in The Fog and her role in Escape from New York were actually written specifically for her.
I love this shot right here, by the way.
Yeah. I have some great shots of her. This is her in Swamp Thing, which I totally love this movie. This was really good.
I've never seen the movie for Swamp Thing, but I've read the graphic novels, and they are so good.
You have to watch this movie. You have to watch this movie. This was my first introduction to Swamp Thing. Was this movie with Adrienne Barbeau?
Do you know which one came first?
This one came first.
This came first, and then they wrote the graphic novel. Okay.
No. The graphic novels actually, the comic books came out before this came out. So
because those were in the 80s. Those were Alan Moore pretty early on. So that
right. But
those are really good. I highly recommend anyone read those.
There are two Swamp Things: the one with Adrienne Barbeau, and then the one with Heather Locklear.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. But we like Adrienne Barbeau better.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Well,
we don't have anything against Heather Locklear, but Adrienne Barbeau is like on fire.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She really is. Go ahead.
I remember her being on Maude when I was first introduced to Adrienne Barbeau in Maude.
That's right.
And I'm really telling my age right now, but Maude was a progressive show at the time that dealt with women's rights, abortion, all those really difficult subject matter that TV was not willing to address at the time. And she played this very defiant, liberal daughter that, was fighting for women's rights, fighting for equal rights and stuff like that. It was definitely a show that was ahead of its time.
Definitely. And she made such a huge impact in Maude. She actually went on to, B. Arthur was, of course, Maude in that show. And B. Arthur and she developed a really close relationship. And B. Arthur actually was her mentor through most of her career.
Wow.
She's had a pretty stellar and incredible career. She was actually, she was the winner of Cannonball Run in the original Cannonball Run in 1981. Her character won. And she's also, by the way, the voice of Catwoman in Batman, the animated series.
Wow.
Get out of here. The WB star?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, she's an incredible voice.
Incredible.
She does. Now that I think about it, Catwoman was sexy just off her voice alone in that. And it was just like so empowering. Like I believe that was Catwoman. Wow. Thank you for that.
Yes, you bet. She actually began, she went to New York and began as a theater actress. She actually was when she first was in New York from 1964 to 67, she was a go-go dancer in a mafia-run nightclub. She tried. Look, she's got to make her.
But she was known for her attributes, her bosoms, and she definitely displayed that often in a lot of her movies. And that's what she was known for. But it's, despite the fact that she was known for her physical attributes, she was an amazing actor. And so it was not easy for you to focus on that when you were focusing on her acting as well.
Absolutely. She made her Broadway debut in Fiddler on the Roof, opposite another name you might know, Bette Midler.
Wow.
And so she's actually quoted as saying that she adopted some of Bette Midler's enthusiasm and her street smarts into some of these characters that she brought to the screen. This is another really interesting. She was also played the original Rizzo in Grease on Broadway.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
And something kind of personal, which is I thought amazing. She at 51. She gave birth to identical twin boys.
What?
Yep. So she gave birth to identical twin boys, Walker Stephen and William Dalton Van Zandt. And she's actually the ex-sister-in-law of musician actor Stephen Van Zandt.
Wow.
This woman can't be stopped.
She cannot be stopped. Like, she is the hero of the century. Like, not just the decade. She's pretty amazing.
Yes. Yeah, she is amazing. Kudos to her. I love her.
So let's move on to this is her. Oh my gosh. This is her in one of my favorites. This is the Creep Show.
Yes. She was good in that too.
't played someone who is so annoying and horrific. You just couldn't wait for her to die. And when her character dies in that, she dies in a kind of a public way. Everybody, instead of being horrified, everybody turns around and starts clapping because they were over her.
She was really good in that.
I will not forget that scene.
Yeah.
So, all right, the next one that we want to talk about is someone that made a big difference in my life in the 80s growing up, because I was a kid of the 80s, child of the 80s. This is Dee Wallace. Who here knows Dee Wallace?
I do. Yes. Dee Wallace was it in the 80s.
Was it. I mean, we're talking she was in everything. And the E.T., of course. She played the mother of the kids in E.T. That's what she was really known for. But then she was in all these fantastic horror movies. So she was known for E.T., of course, but she followed up E.T. with Cujo. And then she was in The Howling and Critters and Shadow Play. She was just in so many different things that she was just amazing.
So, and Cujo, was she the mom at the end? I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen Cujo in a while. She was the mom at the end that came.
She's the mom who's stuck in the freaking Pinto.
Okay, yes. Then I remember her. Yes, I remember her.
She's the mom. Yes. But she was big in the 80s and everything. She was also she was married to a guy, another actor by the name of Christopher Wallace, who played in The Howling with her, I believe.
That's right. And they were actually in two movies together with Christopher Wallace. Mm-hmm. So she was in, if we back it up into her first glimpse of her in horror movies, she was actually in 1977's The Hills Have Eyes.
What?
Oh. Have you guys ever seen the 77 Hills Have Eyes? It is crazy.
I think I have.
Crazy.
I think my brain only remembers the recent Hills Have Eyes, and even that's kind of like choppy. Because I remember seeing that at a young age, and I was just like, maybe this is not the movie for me.
It definitely has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of feel to it.
Okay,
and she was the one escaping from the cannibals in the hills.
I gotta watch it again. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth a watch. She says she never wants to be in a small car again after filming Cujo. because she spent the practically 3/4 of that movie in the size of in a Pinto.
Right.
Acting every day in a Pinto for literal weeks and months.
What?
So let's see. She's played a character. Weirdly enough, she's played a character named Mary 5 times. So, like, where does that come from?
She looks like a Mary, maybe? Is that why people associate her with that name?
She was Mary in E.T. and something called Voodoo Moon, which was in 2006. While I Walk a Mile in My Pradas in 2011. Child Bride of Short Creek in 1981 and 10 in 1979. She was actually in 10. Did you guys ever see 10?
No.
The movie with Bo Derek?
Bo Derek, yes.
Was she the girlfriend? Was she his girlfriend or something like that?
She was. Absolutely.
Yes. See, I recognize her in a lot of stuff.
She's just one of those ever present actresses. And she had her peak in the 80s, but she's still around. If you look at her IMDb profile, she still has 5 movies that are in the can, and she's still working consistently. So Dee Wallace is pretty amazing. And she was also in, by the way, she's Alligator 2, The Mutation in 1991, the 2007 version of Halloween.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
She's been in so much. I mean, she's royalty. She's definitely royalty when it comes to horror films. But keep going. We're having some difficulties with our presentation, but keep going. I'll,
She is hot, Mia.
Yes.
She is super hot.
So
Totally.
are they gonna make another Howling movie? Because I remember the first one, I enjoyed it. I didn't know there was a second one whatsoever. And I think it might be to the trash, but if they're gonna make another Howling movie,
it was trash. It was trash.
It was.
The Howling movies after that were not great at all.
Yeah, the first one was excellent, but the others were kind of like, it's like they just had enough money to sort of slap on some paint on the old side, the old like monsters from part 1, and they just were like, shove it out again, shove it in actors' faces. Yeah, so here comes something. Act scared.
So true.
All right.
Yeah, I think it was novel back then, and then they just decided that they were gonna use it to the point. I mean, I think there was even a hillbilly Howling. You remember that? They were like hillbillies living up in it. Oh God, it was really bad. It's
really sad when they do that to a franchise. And the third one, we'll move on to the third one. And we'll pull it up if we have it, but if not, we'll just talk about her. You all had probably know this person, Heather Langenkamp. Do you know Heather Langenkamp?
I definitely know who that is.
I think I know her face. I just don't know her name. Can you give me a movie?
The name sounds familiar, but I bet I'll recognize her face.
Ooh.
She was in 1, 2, Freddy's Coming For You. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
She plays the heroine in Nightmare on Elm Street.
She's the girl that. Well, okay, so she's the girl that dies at the end. Okay, yeah.
She does not die at the end.
She does die at the end because at the end, she gets pulled through a window. You guys remember that?
That is her mom.
No, that was her mom got pulled through the window.
That was her mom?
Yes, her mom got pulled through the window.
You need to rewatch that because I am.
Did she get stopped? Did she get trapped? Did she get trapped in the car?
She gets trapped in the car.
Okay.
Yes, and they drive off.
All right. Well, she still died because nobody gets trapped in a car and lives.
She did not die because she came back in 2,
it was all her
4,
dream.
And the last one. No, she was back, honey. She did not die. She has been fearless. Nancy has been fearless in this. Has been fearless in this.
I love her profile right here. Like her face is such ferocity right there.
Yeah,
absolutely. She was she was 20 years old. She played a 16-year-old. And in this particular movie, she was actually going to school in Stanford as a literature major when she was cast in this movie. And she was actually she beat out for this role. She beat out Oh, wouldn't that have been cool?
Sigourney Weaver.
Demi Moore.
Oh, Demi Moore. Okay.
Courtney Cox.
Wow.
Tracy Gold. You guys remember Tracy Gold?
Yes.
And Jennifer Grey.
Wow.
None of them got the role, and Heather got the role.
She made it so memorable, though. She made it so memorable.
I was going to say, with all due respect to the actresses you've named, she did an amazing job. She did an amazing job. I remember that movie.
Oh, yeah. And now she wasn't in part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2, it sort of took this weird angle and has an odd gay vibe, which I'd love to go over and review at some point, but not tonight. So if she comes back in part 3, The Dream Warriors.
Yes.
Can we do like a whole episode sometime on movies with just like odd gay vibes?
Totally.
Yeah.
I thought we did a show like that where we talked about.
I mean, everything. I feel like a lot of stuff on here has just odd gay vibes.
I agree.
But I don't know if we've done an explicit.
Are you talking about us? Are you talking about us?
Yeah. This is odd gay vibes.
The gay vibe.
Because you're right.
The gay vibes, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our truth. Here it is.
There it is.
Very phenomenal and funny.
In 1989, Heather was in another Craven production called Shocker. Do you guys remember the movie Shocker?
Yes, that was such a good movie. That was really a good movie.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was. Mm-mm.
I didn't like Shocker.
You're not going to say anything else other than you don't like it? I just
remember not getting it. I remember not getting it. I think I watched it in 98. I think first of all, shout out to my grandmother who had like all the VHS tapes in which I expand my horror library on. Yes. Yes, the VHS tapes is what she had.
Where is that collection, not to speak?
I don't know, because grandma has moved and she's moved on. Rest in peace, so sorry, I don't know who got it. I'm sorry, but if I ever find it, I'll show it to you guys and maybe we can do a movie night. I just remember watching that movie and I was like, what is going on? And then I just left it at that. Annabelle, you seem to have the same emphasis, and maybe you can expand on it because they're looking for more from me.
I've never seen it, but I respect your hustle of just saying, no, I don't like it.
Thank you. This is me and Annabelle here.
There you go.
Well, I don't know what you all think, but I thought
I don't like the Snyder cut.
I thought it was very good.
Totally. So interestingly enough, she got her start of acting when she was cast as an extra in Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders in 1983.
Wow.
So and again in Rumblefish in 1983, and they were both filmed in Tulsa, which is where she lived.
Can you explain Rumblefish for me? Because I've never heard of Rumblefish.
I can in another segment. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna sip my tea then.
I don't know. It's really a great movie. It's like worth this whole entire segment.
Okay.
That's really what I was talking about. She actually also was in a spinoff of Growing Pains. Do you all remember something called Just the 10 of Us in 1987?
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the episode where they go to the Caribbean. The entire family goes to the Caribbean because I thought that was the coolest episode I had ever seen. Anyway, so and my personal favorite was in 1994 when she played Nancy Kerrigan in the Tanya and Nancy, The Inside Story movie.
Yes, she sure did. She was very good in that. She was good in that. And you know what? She kind of looked like Nancy Kerrigan.
Well, she literally called up the casting director when they were filming Nightmare 3, and this thing happened. And the event happened between Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding. She called up the casting director and said, I want an audition. I look exactly like Nancy Kerrigan. And the person thought she was the weirdest person ever, but gave her an audition, and she ended up getting it.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah, she went in and had that kind of that kind of pull.
Yes, you should start saying that for
awesome.
any role that you're trying to get.
Totally.
Just be like, I look exactly like blank.
You should.
Like whoever they want.
Yeah, whoever they want, I could go in there. Hey, you know that there's a famous story that actually Dorothy Dandridge did something like that. She went in for an audition, and she didn't look like the role of Carmen. And then she asked the casting director, "Can I come back?" The head of the studio, Shaka, came back, and when she came back, she completely transformed herself into Carmen. I'm under the a lot of times casting directors. Sorry, my chair's going down. A lot of casting directors really don't know what they want when they go into a casting until they see something. They go, I think that this person embodied this role. This is not what I envisioned, but I think this person got it. So kudos to her for doing that.
Totally.
Definitely.
Just some last things about Heather. She actually co-owns a special effects studio right now. And it's actually the special effects studio responsible for 2004's Dawn of the Dead.
Oh,
that's amazing!
Isn't that cool? And The Cabin in the Woods.
Ooh, The Cabin in the Woods was amazing.
Really good movie.
I love when we have these people that not only do they play badass characters, but they're also just actually badasses.
Yes,
totally.
Because she sounds awesome.
She is amazing, and if you read her quotes, she's quoted as saying, when she meets an actress whose first priority in life is their career, she has very little in common with them, because for her it's about her family, it's about her her friends, it's about her fostering a great positive life for herself, both in front of the screen and behind the screen. And she's not career driven. She wants to do other things. She's actually been quoted as saying she doesn't have millions of dollars, and she's really proud of that and comfortable with that.
I feel like she's not claiming she has $1 million, but she has them. Because if you have a studio where you give props, especially for like Cabin in the Woods, which was a great box office success, I think you're hiding some money in the mattress is what I think you're doing.
Yeah, but she's not. There's something to be said about someone who just wishes to be a working actor, and not somebody who wants to be famous.
Oh, I agree.
And I think that that's probably Heather's goal, is that she wants to do things, but she doesn't have to be famous to do it. I'm sure she has money, but she doesn't necessarily need that to make her happy. And unfortunately, there are a lot of actors that need that to make them happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of runners up that we didn't have a chance to talk about tonight. The first is Shelley Duvall in The Shining.
Yeah.
She was amazing, absolutely amazing, and took a brutal beating in The Shining, only to win at the very end against Jack Nicholson. And she played the most vulnerable. She was one of the most vulnerable performances I've ever seen in The Shining. She was absolutely incredible. Can
I just say her role didn't annoy me? Because when you have like the damsel in distress role, it's annoying sometimes especially when it's constantly repeated. But I felt like it was a little bit more authentic at that time, from what I remember. And I could be totally wrong. I could watch it again, but I felt like it was authentic. And it's like, oh yeah, she got her power back a little. Yay.
I couldn't agree with you more. She was actually traumatized by the director.
Oh.
Throughout the making
Kubrick?
Of that movie.
She was traumatized by Kubrick? How?
He would, I think, put down, if I'm recalling right, it's been a while since I've read this, but he would put down her performances. He would sort of take her any confidence that she had away from her. So she was very insecure about what she was doing. And Kubrick claims that he did that, for the movie, for her character, but it really had a long-term impact on the person. The other person who I'm a huge fan of is Adriana King. from Friday the 13th. So she came in 1980 with Friday the 13th, and then she was in the beginning of Friday the 13th Part 2. And she's done an enormous amount of horror movies and independent movies, and she always plays this wonderful, vulnerable character that has this spunk behind it that's ready to this like inner tiger, ready to be awakened. So, but she also plays vulnerable characters really well too. So she's runner-up number 2, and then of course Ashley Lawrence in Hellraiser.
Oh,
Have you all seen that?
Yes. Definitely her. She was definitely badass in that.
Totally. Annabelle, did you see all the Hellraisers?
I've only seen the first one, but I have them all ready to watch.
Really? It's worth it. It's worth watching them all sequentially.
Really?
Yeah. I really like Hellraiser.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with you on that.
You don't like it, Mike?
I saw the first one. I just remember being scared of nothing because I remember when it came out, I was still young, so I couldn't see it anyway. And I just remember everybody going like, this wasn't what it was supposed to be. I finally saw it maybe 6 years ago, and I was like, oh, okay. That was it. And it was like the second one, I wasn't interested, on how it I don't want to give it away for other people who haven't seen it, but why they were murdering people was such an abstract concept. And I understand it, but it was just it wasn't scary to me. I wanted somebody to bludgeon somebody because they were crazy, or it was a mystical being.
I think you're
or
missing
gremlins.
the point. I think you're missing the point here. The point is that they were all trying to escape hell. And think about it. That was the point of the movie. It was not necessarily. It was more. I would say the Hellraiser was also. There were some visual effects that were really horrible in that movie. But it was also the fact that these people were trying to escape hell and escape the demons of hell. And to me, that was terrifying. And I agree with Mia. It was super creepy.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you afterwards because I feel like I either watched the wrong movie or I got what's wrong.
Yeah, what movie are you watching?
The Hellraiser I knew of was
you're talking about the one with Johnny Depp.
I think so. Is that the one with the desires?
The desires.
So they open the box, then they get
that's a Hellraiser we're talking about with the
one with Pinhead. With Pinhead.
Yes. Okay, maybe I've seen the wrong movie then. I will.
Maybe you didn't watch deep enough.
Maybe.
You must be thinking of Scary Movie 3.
Fair enough.
So let's move on to our segment because we do still have some things that we need to get into this evening. Let's talk about. I am doing a series on ghosts, female ghosts. So we're going to start with Latin America. I'm going to just do one because we have some other content that we need to get to. But my comment, Wishmaster is also creepy. I agree with you, Mia, on that. That's also one of my favorite shows is Wishmaster. I don't know. I'm afraid of devils, I guess. I'm afraid of that kind of stuff. That supernatural crazy stuff. But anyway, let's move on. Okay. So tonight, I wanted to address something from Latin America as one of our ghosts that we are highlighting this evening. And that person is La Llorona. Now, La Llorona means the crying woman. That's what it means, the woman who is crying. For anybody who does not speak Spanish, that's what it means. So the history behind La Llorona is very interesting in the Latin community. Everyone in Latin America knows about La Llorona, the weeping woman or the wailing woman. So she's a ghost who roams waterfront areas mourning her drowned children. And apparently what it says about her is that she married this man who was a rich ranchero and she bore children for him. And one day she found out that he was with another woman, and in a blind fit of rage, she kills and drowns her children and herself. And so she mourns the earth in the afterlife, regretting her mistakes. But the thing is, they say that if you go to her, if you tend to La Llorona, you're cursed by La Llorona as a result of that. So she's very creepy. And there have been some actual sightings in Mexico recently of La Llorona. They've heard this crazy weeping and wailing throughout the streets, and everybody's afraid of going to find out what it is. They're not going to to the attention of this woman because they fear the curse of her, the death of themselves. And that's basically what it is. You're brutally murdered as a result of tending to La Llorona.
I think they came out with a movie, La Llorona. I can't say it properly.
La Llorona. La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Say the double
crying
L's
woman.
like a Y.
The
La
crying
Llorona, like a
La
Y.
Llorona. The crying woman in Spanish, yes.
Yes,
La Llorona. I think they came out with it, and it was actually a really good movie. I wish they expanded upon the universe a little bit more, if I remember correctly. This is really scary because, like, she doesn't leave. Normally, like, if I remember correctly, in most scary movies, you can do something to stop the supernatural or paranormal ghost. This one doesn't necessarily leave at all.
You basically go insane listening to this wailing. You know, you just can't stop it. But some of the wailing that I've heard at night, and some of the footage that I've seen was just like horrendous, and nobody would go there. I mean, you don't even know if that somebody's actually suffering through something, because the fear of going towards a crying woman in the middle of the night brings up this whole thing about La Llorona, and nobody wants to go tend to it, which is sad.
Wow. Yeah, that's like, I feel like they always, like, I'm noticing a theme with these ghosts that's like, if you help a woman in need, you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of messed up.
I think it is too.
And the thing about, too, that there's a running theme about women who are ghosts or spirits is that it's some kind of a scorned woman or someone who is getting back at another person. If you think about it, that's basically what our whole theme was when we did the slit mouth woman last week. She was somebody who was brutalized by her husband and now goes around brutalizing other people. If you think about some of the other ghosts that I featured, think about even what's her name, who was married to Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn is getting vengeance for what happened to her and trying to make sure that she's not, that a right is wrong, you know, or wrong is right, so that she can, you know. So yeah, it definitely is some kind of a theme for why these ghosts exist. I believe you're right, Mia. They did do an episode of on Grimm about La Llorona, and by the way, that was a wonderful show. If you guys ever had the opportunity to watch Grimm, it was a great show.
I think I watched a little bit of it, and I remember enjoying it. I don't remember why I didn't finish it, though.
It actually took place in Portland, by the way, which made me add it to the creep factor of Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon is a creepy place.
Yes, it is a creepy place. It definitely is. There's a lot of little cryptids there. So that's my little segment. Some footage. Yeah, we do have footage of La Llorona, or just the creepiness of Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a video of her.
No, I don't have any I don't have any. I would like to. Maybe we could feature that some other time, but because we have some other stuff that we have to go into tonight, that I'm not going to be able to show that footage.
I'm not going to sleep good tonight. I know that.
That was me at graduation, actually.
I love your hair.
I had really long hair.
I love it.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So this is a little personal item that we want to talk about this evening. I have a very dear friend that passed away in January a couple of years ago. And I was in the process of doing a documentary about her that highlighted our friendship for 18 years. We were friends for 18 years. Interestingly enough, she passed away during me gathering information about her and everything, but we had a very unique friendship. And my friend, when I met her, I didn't know that she was this successful bombshell blonde actress from the 50s when we became friends. I didn't find this out until I went to her house and we were looking through some pictures, and she told me about her career. Interesting enough, my mom knew who she was when I was like, my friend, her name is this. And my mom was like, I know who that is. So I didn't know that. To me, she was just my very dear friend who I conversed with on a regular basis and who was very supportive of me as an actor, and anything that I did, she supported that. we had some really good arguments too, because she was somebody that was very affirmed in her beliefs, and she did not, when she believed something, she believed it with a ferocity that was inexplicable. So I knew we had a true friendship whenever we would make up, because we were still friends as a result of it. Her birthday is coming up on March the 30th, and I know that I promised a lot of her fan base and the people on her page a film, a documentary, but based on everything that has been going on in my life, because I lost both of my parents, two of my caregivers, subsequently one after the other, it just has been very difficult. I will promise you that we are going to complete this film and the story behind her. But tonight we wanted to give a shout out to my friend Greta Thyssen, and kind of chronicle her life and her career in horror films as a horror film maven. A lot of people really don't know that much about her, but I can tell you that she was a very successful, and probably there's a niche group of people that really love Greta and who she was. And then there's some people that don't know who she is at all. So this is a way for us to kind of familiarize you, the audience out there, with who she was. And we're just going to do a little brief overview about her. So we had Annabelle and Augie watch one of her films. She's known for a couple of her B-movie films, and one of them was Terror is a Man, and the other one was Journey to the Seventh Planet. And I've talked to her extensively about those two films just after watching them when they came out on Amazon, because I was just so excited to watch it and go back and tell her what I thought about it. But what was your take on the film today when you all saw it?
So I watched Journey to the Seventh Planet, and my main takeaway was it felt like a movie that was made by men and for men.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and why was that? Why was that, Annabelle?
Because the whole movie was just these like horny dudes on a spaceship, and Greta is amazing and beautiful and everything, but the guys are just deplorable.
Well, I think that her whole persona was she was like a femme fatale. And a lot of people know her from being one of the last femme fatales to be with the Three Stooges, to actually work with the Three Stooges. That's what people saw of someone who was blonde and voluptuous in the 50s. You've got the Marilyn Monroes, you got the Jane Mansfield, you've got Van Dorens. Yeah, you've got all these characters, and they basically saw them as dumb blondes or seductive blondes who were trying to entice men into doing something bad. That's what they could never be recognized as serious actors.
Yeah, I actually met her with you. I don't know if you recall that, but
yes, I do.
We were together one day, and you were with her, and I met you. She was what a lovely person, first of all, and it doesn't shock me that she was so well known for her looks, because even at her advanced age when I met her, she had a banging bod. Like what? I was like in shock about this. There was nothing that had advanced with age with her body. She was actually. I did some research, as you do, and she actually had a 40, 24, 36 measurement. So she was perfection when it comes to the pinup girl, right? During that age, she was that. They called her the favorite piece of Danish pastry in town.
Yes. So that's another thing that people don't know, is that she was Miss Denmark, I think, of 1954 at the time. When she came over to the United States, this gentleman saw her and said, you should be an actress over in the United States. Now, she was not a true blonde. I think that she had brown hair, and she dyed her hair blonde to fit in with that stereotype that that image that they were trying to pursue of the 50s at that time. But she, even in her advanced years, there were men that were Google her going down the street, and she still dressed a certain way. Her legs were just gorgeous. She still wore her heels. She still, wore her makeup. She just was a gorgeous person inside and out. She was beautiful, and she was so oblivious to the attention that was going on around her because it was really known to her. We could not go into a restaurant without some man coming up to her, and I'm talking about men of all various ages coming up to her and trying to talk to her because she was still gorgeous.
It was incredible. She was stunning.
Yes, she was stunning. Thank you, Mia. She was.
One of the things I'd love to ask you if she ever spoke to you about it, was when she was actually Marilyn Monroe's double in Bus Stop. So, so did she ever give you any stories about Marilyn Monroe?
She did. She told me that she was very tragic and misunderstood when she met her. Yeah. She said that she was very aware of the fact that nobody took them seriously as blonde bombshells. And she said, but Marilyn more so, because Marilyn was the star of that movie, that she wasn't taken seriously. Like if she had a suggestion or a thought during filming, that Marilyn was kind of ignored. It was the image of the director, what the man wanted to see, and they basically did that without her input in it. So she just did what she was asked to do. But that was her comment about it, that she felt that she was just very tragic.
Was she really focused on becoming sort of an actress and then was typecast into this role? Or was she like just doing whatever she needed to do to get a job?
Who, Greta or
yeah, Greta.
I think that she was working. She knew what was expected of her. She knew that she was here based on how her attributes and how she looked. But she was a very serious actor. When I met Greta, she and I were both attending a class at Gene Frankel's theater. Gene Frankel, who at the time was a very renowned stage director who had directed people like Cecily Tyson and James Earl Jones and Frank Langella. He was well known in the community, and she was taking classes. She was always trying to perfect her craft, And at the time, she was also thinking about writing a one-woman show about her life. But even in that, one of the things that people don't know about her is that she was extremely gifted artist. She did some beautiful paintings, beautiful nudes. When I first went over to her apartment, I saw these beautiful pictures with such brilliant color and symmetry. She just was known for these things. These are things that people didn't know about her because they saw her as a sex symbol, but she was so intelligent. She read the New York Times every day. And a lot of our conversations were what she read in the Times and her commentary from the perspective of being someone from Denmark who was, Denmark is extremely progressive, and her viewpoint of American, policy. She just, she was an exceptional person. I never had a boring conversation with her. We were always talking about different things that were going on in the news. Yes, always. Yeah. She was always abreast of those things.
Can I ask with Greta, was there any other projects she did as well that we may not know of, that you may have known of, that you'd want to help expose the world besides her and her art?
Well, she one of the things that I think that she would pride herself mostly on is that she was an amazing mom. Now, her daughter has gone on to be a successful professor and a writer, and she loved her daughter. I mean, they had some issues because Greta could sometimes be very self-involved or, speak her mind, that not necessarily at the most opportune times. So it caused a little friction between her and her daughter. But I think that she would say the most successful thing that she did was to raise her child. And this is one of the reasons why she left Hollywood too. She was that enamored with her daughter.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So she left Hollywood to raise her daughter.
She got married and she raised her daughter. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. That basically was what she told me. She's like, when we would talk about her career, she really didn't really like to talk about it. She still had fans. She still had people that wrote to her and everything like that and admired her. But mostly what she wanted to talk about was her accomplishments as a mom, her diet, the New York Times, about her neighbors, a normal life, about what I was doing, if I was eating well. She just was a normal person.
She sounds like a great person, honestly.
Yeah, she sounds awesome.
I would say that if anybody had the opportunity to be blessed to be her friend, that you would think the same too. You had to have a very thick skin to be her friend, though. She may not agreed with everything that you said, and she might sometimes have been belligerent about it. But at the end of the day, you have to admire the fact that she was like this, that she was different in that aspect, that she did believe and have very strong beliefs about the world and viewpoints about the world.
Wow.
Well, I certainly got that impression when we met and got a chance to speak to her. I actually was in it wasn't the same class that you were in, but she was in one of my acting classes back in the day as well. I remember her very vividly because she would do her face up with all the, full makeup and everything. Like I don't think she ever left the apartment without making sure she was fully done.
Her regimen, yes, her skincare regimen was down to the pack. She still wore her makeup. You're absolutely right, Augie. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I remember her very vividly because we, showed up like a bunch of schleps off the street, and she would come in, and we would all just be like, "How do you compete with this?" And you're right. She did take her craft very seriously. She knew all the lines. She was very good. She studied up on everything. She was ready as soon as we got in. She was very professional.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I found out that she was your friend, I was really delighted, actually, because I didn't know her. I didn't know her as a friend. It's just someone that I went to a class with. It was really interesting and intriguing.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, there were a lot of men that had crushes on her. I mean, I think that Gene Franco was enamored with her. She could do no wrong. And he was tough, but he always would say, "My Greta." He would always call her "My Greta," when she came in and stuff like that. Yeah, she was a gorgeous woman, a beautiful spirit. And I miss her terribly.
Yeah. She was in The Beast of Budapest as well.
Yes.
As Tara as a man.
Yeah.
So in the 50s and 60s was like her prime time.
I mean, there were other shows that she was in outside of the Three Stooges. She also did a bunch of Perry Masons. She did Sea Hunt. I think she was one of the Sea Hunt girls back in the day. If you like 1950s type of programming, I mean, she did a lot of shows back in the day. She did Three Blondes in His Life. I think there's a movie called Three Blondes in His Life. I'm not sure. I can't remember that movie, but yeah.
She was in Dragnet. She was in Dragnet as well.
Yeah, she was in Dragnet. I mean, she did a lot of the whole, Run the Gamut 1950 series at the time as one of the women there. But always she played some mysterious woman that, might have been the demise of the main character. She played that.
Well, and she did it really well. She was, when I was watching, along with Augie, when I was watching Journey to the Seventh Planet, she obviously was the most sexually. She gave off a lot of sexual energy in that movie.
Yeah, she did.
Really owned it.
Yeah, I remember talking to her about that, and I noticed that there's a black negligee that she wears in Journey to the Seventh Planet, and her boobs look like torpedoes. I was like, "Girl, what kind of bra did you have on back in those days?" And she laughed about it. And she goes, "Well, they didn't have that. That's how bras were shaped back in those days."
Yeah.
She said bras were shaped like that. There was no curve to the bra at all. So it looked like it looked like torpedoes, and I was laughing about it. I also asked her about Terror is a Man because, they filmed Terror is a Man in the Philippines. She flew to the Philippines to film that. And she told me that it was extremely hot. She said it was extremely hot. She said she suffered so much because it was just so hot there. Yeah. She said that she couldn't take it. She said it was just really hot. She said it was very uncomfortable. She said beautiful people, beautiful everything. She said, but it was just so amazingly hot.
Yeah. By the way, she played, for people that don't know, that she played a mad scientist turned panther-like creature in Terror is a Man. Oh. So it was very much like the Island of Dr. Moreau. Right.
It was definitely a knockoff of the Island of Dr. Moreau. It was definitely that. Absolutely. Yeah. So, yep. But
well, thank you for sharing that about Greta. She's, just one of there are so many fantastic, talented people that we only get to see a view of based on whatever they're cast in and whatever characters they present to us. And it's nice to really see the full picture of who the person was. So thank you for offering that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And to her fans out there, and to the people who are on her page, we are still going to do this documentary. Like I said, there's been a lot of things that happened. Our director got very sick the last 2 years, and she's been recuperating from her illness. But I know that the fans want this. They want to have storylines on there, want to see about her life, and especially because it was in the 50s and the 60s when it was a very glamorous time in Hollywood. There's a lot of things that we did not mention about Greta in this commentary, like her supposed affair with Cary Grant, her run-ins with other actors like William Shatner, and all the stuff that she used to tell me. Her friendship with Judy Newmar, just everything. Julie Newmar,
what?
Yes. Julie Newmar, yes. Julie Newmar and her were buddies. They were kind of like fun running buddies for a little bit. Yeah, she had a very interesting life. She really did, and her comments about some of the stuff were kind of hilarious because that's just how Greta was. She was just very forthcoming. She never minced her words. I don't think she ever had a switch that would turn off what came out of her mouth. She would just say it,
No editing for Greta.
None whatsoever. That's why that whenever she would make a comment about something, I know it was truth because she's not somebody that would have minced her words.
Sure.
So definitely not.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly what you see. So I just want to tell you all that, yes, we are still working on it. It might be ending something that Cliff Dive will be probably handling at some point. To do a documentary like that, the talking about our friendship is the easy part, but it's getting the archive footage is going to be the most difficult part because it was a golden era and age in Hollywood at that time. But I love her. Love you, honey. And miss her very, very much. And I'm sure that all the other people that had the chance to encounter her in their lives, and you all know who you are out there, love and miss her too. All right. So we are going to be back here next Thursday. If you liked what we were talking about this today, or if you want to join us next Thursday, we'll be back here at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific Time, here, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Please go like, subscribe, follow us, and content, and share our content. Share our content to other pages too. I look forward to our next month because we have an exciting month next month, so I can't wait.
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah, we have a very exciting month next month. Some really good interviews that are coming up. So with that, this is a good evening. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Are we going to have fish on the show?
Fish? No, only fish on Fridays, honey. Only fish on Fridays. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Mayhem, for hosting with us this evening. It's always a pleasure, and you add so much to the show.
Thank you, Mayhem.
All right. Thank you, you all. Have a very good evening. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Good night, Mia Shelton. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much for following us and making comments. Now that's a fan right there.
That's
All right.
Thank you, Mia.
Love your look, Mia. Love your look.
Yes. And also a very creative individual she is. You may want to go and follow her too. And some of the things that she's doing in the community.
We cannot wait till you start, girl. Go ahead. Take us out, Leslie.
It's our Etsy page. Yeah, exactly. All right, you all have a wonderful evening and take care. We'll see you next week here on the Tingling Tea. Goodbye for now.